She smirked. "If you're jealous, go home," loud enough for the whole beach to hear. I said, "Okay," walked off, locked my card she'd been secretly using, and let the resort handle the $2,000 bill she couldn't pay. The real shock hit her when I never thought I'd walk away from a beach vacation mid-trip. But here we are. I'm sitting in my Denver apartment right now. My girlfriend is still at a San Diego resort, and I honestly don't know if I made the right call or completely overreacted. I'm Liam, 31, financial risk analyst. My girlfriend Savannah is 29, a lifestyle and fitness influencer with 85,000 followers. We've been together 2 years, total opposites attract situation. She thrives on attention and validation. I'm reserved and analytical. I thought we balanced each other out, you know. There's always been this thing where Savannah flirts with other guys. Not cheating, I don't think, but in a way that makes me feel like furniture in the room. When I bring it up, she says I'm being insecure or just being friendly. "Relax, I'm just being friendly," she'll say, and then I feel like the controlling boyfriend for even mentioning it. So I've learned to observe and stay quiet. Last week, Savannah invited me to join her and some influencer friends for a long weekend at this bougie resort in La Jolla. She said it would be good for me to see her work environment and meet people in her circle. I agreed because I wanted to see how she acted around people who knew me as her boyfriend, not just random guys at bars. The trip started fine. We arrived Thursday afternoon, checked into this beautiful resort overlooking the beach. Her friends were nice enough, typical influencer types who document everything. There was also this guy Tyler I'd never heard of before. Savannah introduced him as a co-worker from some brand collaboration thing. He seemed friendly but kept looking at Savannah in a way that made me uncomfortable. Friday was the beach day. That's when everything fell apart. We were all set up on this private section of beach the resort had arranged. Savannah was in her element, taking photos, laughing loud enough for everyone to hear, just performing in general. I was sitting there with sunscreen in my hand because she'd asked me to grab it from our bag. Then this beach tour guide walked by. Young guy, maybe mid-20s, fit, exactly the type Savannah always notices. His name was Aiden, and he was explaining tide pools or something to another group. Savannah immediately called out to him. "Aiden, hey, can you help me with something?" He walked over, all smiles, probably used to tourists asking for directions. Savannah turned her back to him, glanced at me, then back at him. "Can you get my back with sunscreen? My boyfriend gets weirdly jealous about this stuff." I was literally sitting there holding the sunscreen bottle. Her friends went quiet. Tyler looked down at his phone, and Aiden, to his credit, looked super uncomfortable. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I just said, "Okay," stood up, and walked back to the resort. I could hear Savannah calling after me, "Oh my God, Liam," I was joking, but I kept walking. Back in our room, I started packing. That's when I noticed something on the resort bill they'd slipped under our door that morning. There were charges I didn't recognize. A spa package, an upgraded room service order, a private wellness consultation. All charged to a credit card I'd given Savannah once for an emergency last year. I'd completely forgotten it was still saved in her wallet. I called the front desk and had them lock that card from any future charges. Then I finished packing, booked a flight home for that evening, and left. Savannah sent me about 30 texts between when I left the beach and when I boarded my plane. They went from confused to angry to panicked. The last one before I turned my phone to airplane mode said, "If you walk out over this, don't bother coming back." I didn't reply. Now I'm home, and I keep replaying it in my head. Was it really that big of a deal? Should I have talked to her instead of leaving? Part of me feels like I finally stood up for myself. Another part of me feels like I just torched a 2-year relationship over sunscreen. So yeah, I don't know. Did I overreact? Update 1. It's been 5 days since I posted, and I honestly wasn't expecting this much response. Thank you to everyone who took the time to read and comment. I've been processing a lot, and there have been some significant developments that I think warrant an update. First thing, Savannah woke up Saturday morning to discover I'd actually left. I wasn't answering her calls or texts. And apparently the resort informed her that the credit card on file for incidentals had been declined. She tried to check out and couldn't because there was an outstanding balance of over $2,000 that she couldn't cover. Her messages to me went from angry to desperate pretty quickly. "Are you seriously doing this? You're being so immature." Then, "Liam, please, I need you to call me back. There's a problem with the hotel." And finally, "I'm sorry, okay? Just please answer." I didn't respond to any of them. But here's where things get interesting. On Sunday, one of Savannah's friends from the trip, Emily, sent me a private message. She and I had talked a few times before at Savannah's events, and she always seemed level-headed. Her message said she felt terrible about what happened and wanted me to know something. She sent screenshots of a group chat from before the trip. Savannah had written, "Liam's too logical to ever actually leave. I can push his buttons and he'll just analyze it to death and move on." Another message said, "He won't do anything. He's too invested." Emily wrote, "I thought you should know she's been saying stuff like this for a while. She legitimately didn't think you'd walk away. None of us thought it was cool, but we didn't know how to bring it up." That hit me harder than the beach thing, honestly. It wasn't just disrespect in the moment. It was calculated. She'd been testing my boundaries deliberately because she thought I was too passive to enforce them. Then on Monday, something even more unexpected happened. Tyler, that coworker guy from the trip, reached out to me. We'd exchanged LinkedIn info at some point during the weekend, and he sent me a message there. He said, "I owe you an apology, man. I didn't know the full situation until after you left." Then he explained that Savannah had been flirting with him for the past 2 months. They'd had coffee a few times, and she'd told him that our relationship was basically over, that I was more of a roommate than a boyfriend, and that she was just waiting for the right time to end things. He said he backed off once he realized during the trip that I had no idea about any of this, and that Savannah had clearly been lying to both of us. "I feel like I got played too," he wrote. "She made it sound like you guys were done. I wouldn't have pursued anything if I'd known the truth. I'm really sorry." I appreciated the honesty, even though it was another gut punch. Savannah hadn't just disrespected me publicly, she'd been actively setting up her next option while keeping me around for stability. The resort situation escalated too. On Tuesday, I got a formal email from their billing department. They were requesting payment for several charges that Savannah had made under my name. Apparently, beyond the spa and room service, she'd booked a private yacht photo shoot for $1,350 and some kind of luxury wellness package. I responded very politely, explained that I had left the property early, that those charges were made without my authorization, and that they should contact Savannah Brooks directly for payment. I forwarded them her contact information and CC'd her on the email. She called me immediately. I let it go to voicemail. Then she texted, "Are you serious right now? You're really going to leave me stranded here?" I replied with just 4 words. "Please settle your charges." The meltdown that followed was something else. She sent me voice messages crying, saying I was being cruel, that she was embarrassed, that her friends were judging her. She said the beach thing was a joke, and I was blowing everything out of proportion. Here's what I keep coming back to. Emily's screenshots and Tyler's confession showed the beach incident wasn't the problem. It was just when I finally saw the pattern clearly. Savannah had been treating me like someone who would always be there no matter what. She'd been banking on my predictability. Some commenters said I should have communicated more before leaving, and I get that. But I'd been communicating for 2 years every time I asked her to tone down the flirting, every time I tried to set a boundary just to have it dismissed. She heard me. She just didn't think I'd follow through. Savannah is still in San Diego figuring out her bill situation. I'm here in Denver, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm not walking on eggshells. It's quiet. The quiet feels really good. Update 2. Quick recap for anyone new. I walked out of a beach vacation after my girlfriend publicly humiliated me. Turned out she'd been manipulating me for months and setting up other options. I left her stranded at the resort with a bill she couldn't pay. Last Wednesday, I started getting tagged in TikTok videos. Multiple videos. Apparently, someone at the resort filmed Savannah having a complete meltdown at the checkout desk. The staff were trying to process her departure, but they couldn't let her leave until the outstanding charges were settled. In the video, you can hear her arguing with the front desk manager, saying things like, "This is ridiculous. My boyfriend is being vindictive. He left me here on purpose. The video went viral. Not huge viral, but big enough that it spread through certain circles. The caption was something like, "Influencer meltdown at La Jolla Resort." People in the comments were roasting her. Someone found her Instagram and started connecting dots. The worst part for Savannah was that her friends from the trip started distancing themselves publicly. There was a group chat situation where things got heated. Someone leaked screenshots, and I saw them through Emily, who's been keeping me updated. In the chat, one of her friends, Chloe, wrote, "You literally told him to leave if he had a problem. He left. Now you're mad that he actually did it?" Another friend, Daniel, pointed out that Savannah had been complaining about me for months, but never actually broke up with me, and that keeping someone around as a backup while flirting with other guys wasn't the empowered behavior she claimed it was. Savannah's response was to double down. She posted on her Instagram story, "When insecure men run away from strong women, the strong women stay winning." It was clearly directed at me, and it was so far from reality that even her own followers started calling her out. Emily and another friend, Maya, both publicly commented. Emily wrote, "Strong women don't humiliate their partners in public and then act surprised when there are consequences." Maya added, "Maybe take accountability instead of playing victim." Savannah deleted the story within an hour, but dozens had screenshotted it. The screenshots spread further than the original post. Her comment section became a disaster. She called me Friday night. I almost didn't answer. She was sobbing, genuine, broken sobbing. "It was one joke, Liam. One stupid joke on the beach. How did we get here?" I stayed calm. "It wasn't one joke, Savannah. It was every single moment that led up to that joke. You telling your friends I'd never leave. Telling Tyler I was basically your roommate. Using my credit card without asking. 2 years of you testing how far you could push me." She argued. Said I didn't fight for the relationship, that I gave up, that a real partner would have stayed and worked through it. I said, "You told me not to come back if I left. I just listened to you." Long silence. Then very softly, "I didn't think you actually would." "I know." She hung up. Since then, radio silence from her. I heard through Emily that Savannah had to call her mom to wire money for the resort bill. Her credit cards were maxed from maintaining her influencer lifestyle, explaining why she'd used mine. The yacht photo shoot and wellness package were for a brand deal that fell through. Her follower count has been dropping. Not massive, but steady decline. People unfollowing after the meltdown videos. Tyler stopped responding after she tried throwing him under the bus in the group chat, claiming he pursued her inappropriately. The beach video became a meme in some circles. Savannah's name got attached. Can't be great for her brand. I've been reflecting. Some might think I'm enjoying watching her life fall apart, but I'm not. I'm relieved. Relieved I'm not constantly worried about what she'll say or do next. Relieved I'm not justifying her behavior anymore. Relieved I trusted my gut and left when something felt fundamentally wrong. I've been hanging out with friends I'd neglected during the relationship. Running again. Something I used to love but stopped. Sleeping better. Some asked if I regret how I handled it. Honestly, no. Could I have had a confrontation on the beach? Sure. Could I have stayed and tried talking through everything again? Absolutely. But I'd already done that version a dozen times. This time I chose differently. I chose to stop explaining myself to someone who wasn't listening. I don't know what Savannah's doing now. I don't need to know. That chapter is closed. Final update first, the resort thing. About 3 weeks after my last update, I got another email from La Jolla Billing. They'd done a full audit of the charges and discovered something I didn't know about. Apparently, Savannah had added Tyler as an additional authorized guest on the room without going through proper channels. She'd basically tried to get him room access and charged amenities under my name. The resort flagged it during their review. They apologized for the confusion and confirmed I wasn't responsible for any of Savannah's charges. They also mentioned they'd reached a settlement with her directly. I'm guessing her mom had to bail her out again. That detail about Tyler being added to the room hit differently. It confirmed what I'd already suspected. She wasn't just casually flirting or being friendly. She was actively trying to set something up with him during a trip I was on. The level of calculation behind that still blows my mind. Emily sent me one final message a few weeks ago. She said Savannah had moved back to her mom's house somewhere in Arizona and was taking a break from social media. Her Instagram is still up, but she hasn't posted anything new in over a month. Her follower count dropped below 70,000 last I checked, which I only know because Emily mentioned it in passing. I haven't looked at Savannah's profile myself. Honestly, I don't need to. Tyler reached out one more time too, just to say he appreciated how I handled everything and that he felt terrible about his role in the whole situation. I told him I didn't hold anything against him personally. Savannah had lied to both of us. He was just another person she was trying to manipulate. We're not friends or anything, but there's no bad blood there. Now for the part that feels strange to even type. About a month ago, I met someone. Her name is Mia. She's 33, works as a brand strategist, and we met through a mutual friend at a dinner party. We've been on a few dates since then. Nothing serious yet. But the difference in energy is night and day. Mia is calm. She communicates directly. When she says something, she means it. There's no testing, no games, no performing. Our conversations feel easy. I'm not constantly analyzing for hidden meanings or waiting for the other shoe to drop. I told her about Savannah on our second date. I kept it brief but was honest about how recently everything had happened. She listened carefully, asked a couple of clarifying questions, and then said, "That sounds exhausting. I'm glad you got out." No judgment, just genuine understanding. It felt incredible to be heard like that. We're taking things slow, which is what I need right now. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited about where things might actually go. Mia reminds me what it feels like to be with someone who actually respects me. Last week, Savannah sent me an email, a long, detailed one. She apologized for everything, said she missed the stability I brought, that she'd learned from losing me. She admitted she'd been selfish and understood why I left. She asked if there was any chance we could talk, maybe rebuild a friendship. I read it twice. Then I forwarded it to Emily with a short note thanking her for her honesty. Then I archived it without responding. I don't owe Savannah closure or a conversation to make herself feel better. She lost me not because I stopped caring, but because she took my presence for granted. She lost access, not love. And that was her choice. A lot of people asked if I'd ever take her back, if I thought she could change. Maybe she can. Maybe she'll grow from this and treat her next partner better. I genuinely hope she does. But that growth journey isn't mine to witness. I've been thinking about what peace actually looks like. For a long time, I thought peace meant not making waves, not causing conflict, not walking away even when I should. But real peace is knowing when to remove yourself from chaos. It's about choosing your own well-being over someone else's comfort. It's about walking away from something that hurts you, even if other people don't understand why. Savannah didn't lose me in one moment on the beach. She lost me over 2 years of small moments where she chose her ego over our relationship. The beach was just when I finally stopped pretending it wasn't happening. I'm in a good place now. I'm building something healthier with someone who values what I bring to the table. I'm reconnecting with parts of myself I'd forgotten existed. I'm not looking over my shoulder or bracing for the next boundary violation. Savannah is wherever she is, working through her own consequences. Tyler is moving on. Emily and I still talk occasionally. And I'm here in Denver, finally understanding what people mean when they say peace isn't boring. Peace is what you feel when you stop entertaining chaos. And chaos is exhausting when you've finally felt what calm can be.